Welcome, everybody. It's hard to believe that it's January 11th, 2017.
I know, the weeks are going by really quickly, and it's only the beginning of the new year.
I will be happy when January's in the rearview mirror, so to speak.
Absolutely. That means longer days, warmer weather, hopefully. And yeah, so.
And the days do get a lot longer by the end of the month, which is a great thing, because the whole dark thing just...
Yeah, it gets a little depressing.
Yeah. So what do you got?
Well, the big story is that Lou has all the details on the MLK Day of Service, which is happening on Monday the 16th. There are a ton of local service organizations that are all coming together. They've got a lot of volunteer opportunities on Monday, so be sure to check out Lou's story and get out and volunteer and help out your community. Bernadette Ulsimer has a great story on what to keep and what to toss in the new year as far as clothes and trends and jewelry and accessories and all of that. It's the beginning of the new year. It's a great time to clean out your closet and figure out what you're going to keep and toss going into the year.
Do you think she'd come clean out my closets for me?
She absolutely will. You know, it's funny you should mention that. She actually came to my house a couple of years ago and helped me go through my closet and decide what I was going to keep and what I was going to toss and then what I was missing from my wardrobe. So she will absolutely come to your house and help you clean out your closet.
And she'll probably tell me what I'm missing from my wardrobe, too.
Absolutely.
Huh? And then we could work her up in the attic, because I'd really like to get that attic cleaned out, too. But
that one might cost you. And then we also have a story that was submitted from Julie Reed from Advantage Tax Service. She has some details on a tax law that's taking effect this year. It will, if you are someone who benefits from an earned income tax credit or an additional child credit, make sure you check out the story, because this is going to have an impact on when you receive your tax return this year. So some good information for us.
It's hard to believe tax time, too. Huh?
I know. It's coming up on us quick. So
what else you got cooking?
Well, I think that's about it, other than giving away your stuff.
And what do you want to give away today?
I have a $25 gift card to Mr. Sticky's.
Okay.
We have some baseball stuff coming up here in a bit with our guest.
And I must say, it's been cold outside, but you warmed my heart with what we want to talk about this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's right up your alley. So,
yeah.
In honor of the baseball talk, I have a baseball trivia question.
Excellent.
How many double stitches are on a baseball?
You got me. Do I get a clue?
Maybe.
Okay.
I hear a rumor, and I don't know if it's true, so please forgive me, but there may be a correlation to the number of beads on a rosary.
And I also think there's a correlation to the double stitches to the years between Cub World Series.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Is that true, too?
I've heard that that's true also. So
Boy, we're giving a lot of information.
Yeah, we're giving a lot of information.
And key is, in baseball, it's all about numbers, it's double stitches.
Yes, double stitches. How many double stitches are on a baseball? Answer below, win a $25 gift card to Mr. Sticky's.
Nice. And do you want to talk about our guest coming up and why it warms my heart?
Yeah, that'll lead right into our guest. We have Barry Rake and Tim Saar coming in. They are the umpires-in-chief for District 12 Little League Baseball and Softball.
Yep.
So they're going to come in and talk to us about what they do as umpires and their search for more umpires.
And anytime we can find something to talk about when the grass is green and the weather is warm is a good thing.
Absolutely.
When it's January, right?
Yes.
So, well done, and we'll take a commercial break here for good folks at Fairfield Auto Group, and we'll be right back.
Credit problems, bankruptcy, low credit score? At Fairfield Auto Group, we have car financing solutions. Introducing Fairfield Fresh Start Financing. We'll get you financed with 99% credit approval today. Get back on your feet with the vehicle you deserve. And don't forget about the Fairfield Advantage. Available on all pre-owned vehicles. Better quality, better selection, better price, better value. Visit FairfieldFreshStart.com for more info. As always, it's Fairfield for fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And we're back, and we're here with Barry Rake, who's the umpire-in-chief for District 12 Little League Baseball. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what being the umpire-in-chief is? That sounds important.
Well, basically, my actual responsibility is with the umpire-in-chief is to coordinate things for all the District 12 umpires and setting up clinics, okay, and then when it comes tournament time, I do all the assignments for all the tournament games, okay, for all the umpires. So it's basically I'm the person that tries to keep things in order, okay, within our district with the umpires.
Well, that sounds like a lot of responsibility.
Well, it is, but it's a lot of fun, and to me, that's what's most important. As long as what I do is fun, and it is fun doing it, and I enjoy the responsibility.
How long have you been at it?
Well, I've been the umpire-in-chief. I was umpire-in-chief on the softball side for a number of years, and then I've been the umpire-in-chief on the baseball side now probably for the last 6 or 7 years, okay? This is my 45th year of actually umpiring for Little League Baseball.
You never made a bad call.
Well, during the game, there's never a bad call. Talk to me after the game, and I'll tell you which calls were bad.
No, I'm just joking. It's good to see you, Mr. Rake. I'm glad you're here this morning. And the one thing that always amazed me to get off the umpiring side is all the time you put back in the community in so many different ways with the different organizations. And I thank you. And from the Little League side, I got to be around you a lot when I was managing, and the kids were playing Little League, and you seem to be everywhere.
Well, I appreciate those remarks, and it's just I'm a great believer in giving back to the community because as a young person, our family received an awful lot. Okay, a number of years ago, back in 1952, my dad was afflicted with polio, and he was paralyzed from the waist down, and many people came out to help us as a family, and I felt that when I grew up, I wanted to give back to the community for what we got as a family. So, and that's been my motivation, my passion, okay, throughout my years being around and being involved in the community.
And you definitely have lived up to that promise.
Yeah,
and so how can we help you with umpiring?
Well, I think what we'd like to do is try to get the word out to the people that umpiring is, there's a great need for umpiring here in District 12 throughout Little League Baseball, but umpiring also is a great way to give back to the community. And it's also a great way to have some fun and stay with the game of baseball, which is a very, a great pastime to do. So, our goal is to find those individuals that are looking to want to give back to the community, want to enjoy the game of baseball, and at the same time be part of it.
Excellent.
So how do they go about doing that?
Well, what they can do is they can contact me. We do have, as you know, the ad in the Webb Weekly, which we run every week. Okay, and of course they can look at that ad in the Webb Weekly and call me on the phone, okay, and let me know that they're interested in umpiring. And then I call them back on the phone and chat with them, and we take it from there.
Do they need to have experience?
No experience needed. We're, in fact, sometimes the less experience they have, the better off they are, because we can start them out and let them learn the new habits of umpiring and not have to change all the old habits that they created, okay?
So you guys take care of all the training and all of that
Yeah,
for
we
people?
have a clinic scheduled. We have a clinic scheduled on the March the 18th at the Little League Baseball, which all the current umpires will be invited, and any new umpires that sign up will be invited.
And it amazes me as I go to. It doesn't matter if it's a PIAA event, if it's a basketball game currently or a football game, and obviously Little League and PIAA baseball season. But the need for umpires, officials, referees has never been higher because, unfortunately, none of us are getting younger.
That's right.
And we need an infusion of young blood that wants to do it. And give me your thoughts on that a little bit.
Well, there's no question, okay, and as I say, I've said many times over, that I'm moving up in the age bracket just like everybody else, and there's going to come a time that I'm going to be faced with the thought of giving up my officiating, and we always constantly have to look for younger people to fill in, okay, and that's why one of the goals that Tim and I both have, Tim the softball umpire chief, is that we're always looking to try to get as many youth involved, okay, in umpiring as we can, because the youth are our future leaders and the youth are our future umpires. And the last couple of years, we've been able to get a half a dozen high school students, okay, involved in umpiring, and I think that's important, okay, that we continue to look. And probably, and Tim will speak of this on the softball side, but one of the things that we're also trying to do is try to get more females involved in umpiring, even on the softball side, which at this point we have very few, and we really do look forward to having more and more females involved in umpiring.
That's a great thought. And females in basketball, it'd be great to see more ladies out there, in basketball. Heck, if they want to do football, back to getting students involved and younger people. And I think that's a great idea from the standpoint. adults don't understand how tough it is to umpire a baseball game. And I think if we get more young people involved at a younger age, hopefully they can learn and move on up the ladders, whether they umpire, whether they coach, but they'll have that understanding of what you guys go through. And I often watch high school baseball games, or college, or pro. Let's take it right up the line. People don't behave the way they do at Little League games. And I didn't want to go there with this, but I think the better understanding, the more people we get involved. Why don't you speak to us a little bit about that and how it seems when you get older the behavior's better because there's more of an understanding of what's going on?
Well, and I think that's true. And, of course, one of the things that we try to emphasize to young umpires, especially the youth, that when you walk on the ball field, what goes on outside the fence, you close your ears to. And if we can train, umpires that pay no attention to what goes on outside the fence, less controversy will occur. Because once you allow the fans to recognize that you have heard them, they're just going to be on you, the rest of the game. And the best thing you can do is ignore them. Now, that's not the easiest thing to teach young people to do, but it's something that I feel very passionate about, that you just got to turn your ears off, because I've always said, if you're what I call a rabbit ears official, whether it's a baseball or whatever sport it is, in my judgment, you're never going to be a good official. Because you spend more time listening to what goes on from the fans than what actually goes on the field.
And you and I worked together for a lot of years, me in the dugout and you on behind the plate or on the base path. And the one thing I always admired about you was when I showed up, you had control of the place. I didn't have to worry. I knew the game was going to be controlled. I knew there was going to be no outside influence and that the rules were going to be followed. And you and I understand the importance of that, but talk about that a minute, especially at the Little League level where number one, the emphasis has got to be on child safety. Number two is going to be on education and not just as a ball player, but as how to make young men. So.
Well, that's another part of our clinic training, and one of the things we're going to emphasize this year in the clinic. Control is absolutely, you're correct, Jim, of the game. And one of the ways you do that or start that out is you have a very strong conference with the coaches before you start the game. And I know in some areas we're a little bit lax in enforcing that with the umpires, but this year we're going to emphasize it at our clinic that we want all the umpires to have a strong home plate conference to start the game, because if you can control the game as an official, you'll keep a lot of things from not happening. Because once you allow the coaches to get out of control, then it goes to the fans, then it goes to the players, and pretty soon you've got a real mess on your hands. So I think control of the game in all sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, or what it is, it's important, to have control of the game. And control the game in a nice way. You
Absolutely.
don't have to be belligerent, you don't have to be arrogant, you can be nice about it, and everybody learns then from that.
Yeah, I don't think that people understand the influence and importance that umpires have on a game. And like you said, a lot of it comes down to the safety of the kids. And if they're, being bombarded by outside influences, their focus is taking away from the game. And when their focus comes off the game, then their focus comes off the kids. And that's not good for anyone.
You're right, and safety is a high priority of mine, a high priority that we try to teach the umpires that if you don't have good safety out there for the kids in the game, there's all kinds of crazy things can happen. And of course, in today's legal world, if we want to say that, we have to be very cognizant of the safety of these kids, because if some kid happens to get injured because you've been lax on your safety, you could get hauled into court, and then it could be lots of turmoil for you, for your life, and we don't want to see that.
Absolutely not. And we need to take a commercial break for good friends at the Fairfield Auto Group, and we'll be right back.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations. On an unyielding commitment to hometown values, an unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And we're back with Mr. Rake and Steph. Whoa, Steph's gone. We got Tim Saar, who is your right-hand man on the softball side. He's the umpire-in-chief on softball for our District 4. And welcome to Webb Weekly Live.
Thank you.
we were just talking, kicking off the camera a little bit about getting ladies involved in baseball, softball, basketball. But obviously, you're in softball, and you have the same problem finding umpires. And I'm sure you'd like to see many young ladies get involved.
Well, we don't discriminate. We'll take whoever who would like to give it an opportunity. But we do need umpires, and it would be nice to have more females involved. There's a lot of girls that played high school fast pitch, and it would be an easy transition to them. Generally, they have a pretty good understanding of the rules, so that's a starting point. But quite frankly, anybody who's willing to give back to their community, we would be interested in trying to get involved with the communities.
And obviously, I've been around Mr. Rake on the baseball side, and for everybody out there, just so they know, tell them what a gentleman I was on the diamond and how I always shook your hand on the way in and always thanked you on the way out.
There's no question about that, Jim. You were one of the gentlemen, okay, and I enjoyed umpiring your ball games.
People know how fiery I am and about winning, and that never happened on the diamond that
No.
superseded being a gentleman and teaching the right way to behave, did it?
I never had to consider even coming close to even ejecting him, so he was a good coach, okay?
Well, thank you. Anyway, we were talking before you came in, and I see it on the softball side because I do go watch softball games. Nobody's getting any younger.
No, it's definitely, and when you look at officials across almost all sports, they're getting older and older, it seems, and it's very difficult to get younger people involved and committed in doing it. But I think we have a pretty good organization to start someone with training, to give them the rules, to help them become proficient at it. And
Excellent. And I'm a bad one to ask, but obviously there's rule differences, and I don't think people understand how fast of a moving game softball is if they don't have a daughter playing or they're not around it. But talk to us a little bit about the difference between umpiring softball and baseball. And
well, as far as our umpires, we have a lot of umpires who do both, Barry and myself included. Then we have some umpires that only do baseball, and then there's some umpires that only do softball. I think some of it's just a matter of preference. A lot of times for newer umpires, softball is a good place to start because the game is a little bit slower than the baseball. So it's just a touch slower, and sometimes is a little easier to train somebody, and sometimes it's not as intense as some of the baseball parents are. So, but that's not true all the time. But
behavior at the ballpark. We were talking also about that the older the kids get and you go up to the ladder, that the behavior becomes a lot better. But it is an issue in the younger levels that the umpire's got to control the game. And
well, I think that the main thing about umpiring, like all of the Little League volunteers, it's our responsibility to keep the game fair and to keep the game safe. And I know a lot of times it's the umpires are kind of looked at for that, but anybody who's an adult participating in Little League, I think, shares that responsibility. And so sometimes we're just there to remind them of that.
Well, that's a good reminder. And over the years, well, you two have both been around a while. How has the behavior changed on the outside of the fence? I always call it on the outside of the fence. Do you think it's gotten worse, gotten better, the same? It's always been there. You just hear more about it with social media and different things now. And I know we didn't come in to talk about this.
No.
We come about talk, but it intrigues me sometimes.
I think effective umpiring can minimize.
Yep.
I agree
that.
with that 100%.
And you just can't let things get to that point. I think you need to just let's cool people down a little bit and just remind them what we're here for. And I think if you do a good job umpiring, you can avoid most of those confrontations. And
Mr. Rake?
Yeah, no, I agree with Tim on that. And I think one of the other elements that will help that, Jim, is the parental behavior. And we see it here in District 12, where if you have a strong league presence, okay, their board of directors and their presidents, they can do an awful lot to implement programs within their own league, okay, to help control perennial behavior, okay?
I agree with that 100%.
You're never going to be able to get away from not having some element of perennial behavior, but I guess the more intense it gets, and we see it at All-Star time, at tournament time, is where the intensity still seems to drive up, okay, in perennial behavior. But like Tim says, if the umpires can control the game, we can keep a lot of it, okay, under control.
Absolutely, and let's talk about All-Star time. You both have a lot of experience in that, and we're very blessed with an area where we have a lot of good teams every year. Does it become harder or easier to umpire All-Stars?
Oh, it's definitely more intense, and I think as we bring new umpires in, we're kind of try to make sure that we put them into a good situation with the right partners. Because, for instance, I had my older son, Alan, where I don't think that I mentored him enough when I got him into Little League. And by the end of the first year, he really didn't enjoy it. My son Timmy, who is 16, started last year. He's a high school player at Jersey Shore. And I was a little more selective of what games that I would put him on. Come All-Star time,
Sure.
I only allowed him to do softball games on the same field with me to experience the increased intensity. And so I think for us, one of the best things we can do to mentor people along is just to try to give them assignments and walk them along, because there's a lot of time involved into bringing new umpires on, and the last thing we want to do is lose them.
And you understood what I meant. The level of play obviously goes up in All-Stars, which might make it a little easier to umpire. Pitchers have better control.
Right.
Teams are better prepared. Do you see that, or is it the intensity override the?
No, I think that's true. And I've had some newer umpires when we get into tournament time that they'll say after the game, Barry, I learned more umpiring tournament games than I did during the season, okay, because it's a better playing game, okay, and it's a more fun game, okay, and again, the key is, as Tim alluded to, is keeping things under control and keeping everybody's behavior under control. And the first part, as I stated earlier when we talked, is having a very strong coaches conference, okay, before the start of the game, and if umpires can learn to do that, okay, they can keep a lot of things under control, okay, as the season rolls along. And of course, if they do it during the season, then they're going to be more equipped to be able to do it, okay, when it comes tournament time. But if they don't do it during the season, then they get thrown into tournament games, and then they got to start doing home plate conferences, then that's where things get a little loose.
And again, it's like anything else. You got to work your way up, and umpiring's the same way. You work your way up. Eventually, you get the better games. You get the better All-Star games. You get the district championship games. And let's flip it there. Give us your best pitch to people out there that are watching. Why do I want to come out and umpire?
Well, I think there's a lot of people like me. I was involved up in the Jersey Shore area with baseball I've been involved as a volunteer for about 21 years. I've coached and managed all of my kids up through the program. And as my last daughter started to getting around 11, I took this on more as a way to stay involved with the community and to stay involved with Little League Baseball. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that have taken their kids up through Little League. They've enjoyed it. They would be ideal candidates to come back and be involved with the community, and I think we have a nice group of umpires, and it can be fun and rewarding. I think what separates Little League from all other organizations is that it's about community.
Absolutely.
When you get into travel leagues of baseball, travel leagues of softball, it's about winning, winning, winning. And I think what separates Little League is that we take everybody, and
it's about your local town, your local league, your local kids, and providing them that special experience as when they're young. That you and I know there's nothing like Little League. No matter how big the diamond gets, when I talk to people, when you talk to people, those Little League experiences and that shorter fence where a lot of balls go out, the kids love it. And anything you want to add to that? He did real good with it, didn't he?
Well, I guess the only thing I would want to add, Jim, is that I just want to put a plug in for Little League Baseball, which, of course, is very close to all of us here locally, is from an umpire's perspective, they do an awful lot of providing material for training for umpires, okay? And umpires can go on their webpage and pick up some things that they have on their webpage for training So I think not only in addition to what Tim and I have to do here locally, I think there's a lot that comes out of Little League Baseball up here for training of umpires that umpires need to take a look at and have it part of their training process as well.
And I agree 100%. It's a great place for you to start out there if you want to do PIAA games. If you want to move your way up the ladder, it's a great place to learn and have an opportunity. And an umpire can make a good living getting into PIAA, and I shouldn't say make a good living, can supplement their living.
Yeah, you can supplement your living. The only thing that and I think Tim will probably agree with me on this, that if you're going into it for the purpose of supplementing your income,
Right.
You're going into it for the wrong reason.
No, but I mean as they get up to the higher levels.
Right.
And the one thing I want to thank you gentlemen very much for all you do for the local leagues and providing umpires and making sure we have enough umpires. And I don't think everybody understands out there how difficult that is sometimes. And if you have some free time, if you would like to join, it's a great way to give back. It's a great way to help out. And I know these gentlemen would be glad to hear from you, and the nice thing is you can be right in doing ball games not too long, right?
That's right. It won't be long.
So I appreciate you guys coming in, and good luck in the upcoming season, and I hope we get some candidates for you.
Good, Jim.
Thank you.
We thank you for the opportunity to be able to be here today.
Thank you, and we'll take a commercial break for our friends at Fairfield, and Juliana's back up at the SPCA when we get back.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations. On an unyielding commitment to hometown values, an unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
Hi, I'm Juliana for Webb Kids, and today I'm back at the SPCA with Missy Black. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you for asking. So what do you do here at the SPCA?
I'm in charge of all of the volunteers at the SPCA. And we do have a lot of volunteers here at the shelter, but we always need more. And there's always lots of different things that you can do. You can socialize the dogs, the cats, do paperwork, office work, do off-site events. There's many, many things you can do. And the SPCA does not run without their volunteers, that is for sure.
How do you volunteer?
You have to fill out an application and then go through orientation, and then there is some training involved so that you know how to handle animals properly.
Who do we have here today?
Today we have Dice. He is, I do believe he's 8 years old. He's available for adoption here at the shelter, and he does well with kids. He likes other dogs. Depends on the dog, just like us. Depends on who we like. And he is, I do believe he's 8 years old.
I heard that it's about to be the 125th anniversary here.
It sure is. And we have lots of events going on this year to celebrate. We have some events coming up soon, and then we have a big celebration at the actual date of the 125th anniversary.
Well, thank you for having us back at the SPCA. We'll be here in a couple of weeks again. Peace. Back to you, Jimmy.
As I lose the dog.
And it's great to see Juliana's back out to work for the new year.
I
huh?
know, I've missed her. It's about time we put her back to work.
And yeah, definitely. And I love we build a lot of good friendships and partnerships, and I love the one we have with the SPCA.
Absolutely.
Mean, you know how I am, and you're more on the cat side, I'm more on the dog side. So, but you know my belief in taking care of dogs, cats, animals, and the what they do up there, and the other organizations in our area that we support is truly amazing.
For sure. And the SPCA has been at it for 125 years now, and we'll have more details on that coming up in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, it's an amazing organization.
Sounds like you might have a cover in.
I might have a cover in mind for that. So
well, that's a good idea. Anything you want to say in closing?
I think that's about it for the week.
Hey, I know it's January, and I know it's not my favorite time of year, which usually it is my favorite time of year, no matter which month it is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But hey, there's a lot going on. There's high school basketball and wrestling. There's outdoor activities you can take part in. Get out and enjoy the wonderful area and what's going on in our area, and find something to do to get out of the house. And as always, God bless America.